Yo, what's going on guys? RBG here, bringing you another classic topic. If you've been following this channel since its infancy, then you already know I am a huge advocate when it comes to Dragon Ball Z fighting games. Not only was it a major part of my childhood, but it played a major role in propelling this channel to what it is today. Most of my popular videos consist of Dragon Ball Z related topics and discussions on the games that were announced at the time, so that made up a huge portion of my content. Like, I was a legit DBZ YouTuber. But obviously things have changed since the yesteryears, and this channel barely even talks about anything related to that particular anime, and that's simply because the way in which those games are developed don't always guarantee an ambitious product. With the exception of a few games like FighterZ and Xenoverse, which was the last Dragon Ball game I covered and is surprisingly still doling out content, there haven't really been any recent installments that I've deemed noteworthy of talking about. And in a way, it seems like I'm outgrowing their franchise. But occasionally I do go back and see what Namco Bandai and whatever developers they hire plan on doing with the newer games. But let's kind of go back because it kind of feels like deja vu, right? If you guys remember, I did a video talking about why I wasn't really hyped for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. That's the most recent Dragon Ball game we've gotten, and it has some huge boxes to check off. I mentioned that I thought it wouldn't really be what we expected it to be because the devs wouldn't be able to fulfill everything we wanted. The bigger their ambitions were for the title, the shorter time they had to develop it. And that video's likes to dislike ratio was 50-50 right down the middle, which was no surprise because this is a franchise that's amassed an expansive number of loyal fans. Like, even though there were glaring issues over the horizon, people felt like I was being too negative when it came to this game. I mean, CyberConnect 2 is a studio that does a superb job adopting popular anime such as Naruto into awesome games, but unlike Naruto, DBZ was a different kind of beast that I knew they'd have a rough time picking which parts to utilize in their game, and I turned out to be right. There were a lot of things missing, a lot of key moments that were missing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that DBZ Kakarot was a bad game because it wasn't. The overall presentation and visual fidelity was its strong point, but this game wasn't great either. Like, upon hearing about this project, we were expecting it to be the next gen successor to the Legacy of Goku series, but it sort of pales in comparison to those games. Although it sold exceptionally well, it had some of the most repetitive missions. The RPG elements could have easily been left out since you could cruise through the levels. Like, you can literally burst fly into red ribbon robots and call it a day. You'd think since this is an open world RPG, it would actually give you side missions that further expand to each character's arc. Other DBZ games such as Tenkaichi 3 and Budokai 3 have done that in the past, but DBZ Kakarot totally dropped the ball in that area. Something that I was relatively surprised with is that there were no quick time events, which is crazy considering the fact that the QTEs are where CyberConnect 2 shines the most with their Storm games. There are a lot of great moments that I would have killed to interact with, but all we could do is watch. To make a long story short, DBZ Kakarot was an ambitious title, but it didn't quite hit its mark. And as I mentioned earlier, it's most likely stemming from the limited time in which CC2 had to develop it. But as we all know, with every dud comes an awesome sequel, especially when it comes to Dragon Ball Z games. When Legacy of Goku 1 didn't blow us away, we got Legacy of Goku 2 and Buu's Fury, which were awesome continuations. When DBZ Budokai 1 and 2 didn't quite deliver that high-octane experience we were longing for, Demps cranked it up a notch and gave us Budokai 3. Same can be said for Spike, who delivered awesome DBZ games in the form of Tenkaichi 2 and 3 after coming short with the first entry. All those games wouldn't be the classics they are today if it weren't for the developers stumbling on their first attempts. And I say all that to say that a sequel to Kakarot just may be over the horizon. If you guys aren't aware, E3 is right around the corner, and anytime we have this event, you can bet your ass that a new DBZ game will be revealed. There's also the off chance that some big shonen related game will be revealed that just so happens to feature Goku and other DBZ characters, because once again, Namco Bandai has a lot of those properties at their disposal, and in order to keep that deal in place, they absolutely have to release a game every year. And the expectations on what this title could possibly be are all over the place, which is what I love about the DB games. They can jump in any genre. I know a lot of fans are yearning for that classic 2D side view fighting game the Budokai series gave us, and others want the 3D arena style that we've seen in games like Tenkaichi. Like, there's something for everyone when it comes to Dragon Ball. That's what I love about the franchise. If you want to do an adventure game, you can cover the early years of Kid Goku, and that's what I mentioned they should have included in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Like, you'd expect them to include everything pertaining to Goku's adventures if they're gonna title the game with his Saiyan name. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. But I'm hoping that since CC2 actually has a foundation, this time around they can build from that and give us what we wanted in the first game. Like, if you notice, almost every game in the past had their own engine they used for years. All the Naruto Storm games were using a modified engine from the first game that dropped on on the PS3. And considering the fact that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot was already a beautiful game, there was just a lot of things that fans wish it had. Like, this game puts me in the mind of Tenkaichi 1, where we have an incredible looking game with a spark of genius behind it, but it doesn't hold a candle to its predecessors. Like, I remember when Tenkaichi was first announced, I used to look at screenshots of it and I used to just dream of how incredible the environments were gonna look. Taking the battle from the skies to underwater felt like a fever dream, but even though Spike delivered those particular aspects, they didn't implement the things we loved from the Budokai games. Unlike those earlier games, you couldn't simply transform into Super Saiyan Goku or Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan. You had to pick their transformations as if they were their own separate characters, which was stupid, but Spike bounced back, and not only did they give us the option to turn into Super Saiyans mid-match, you could choose to change it to something like a Great Saiyan 8 if you wanted to. The game went on to get rave reviews, with G4's X-Play crowning it the best fighting game of the year, which is a big shock to those who watch that show, right? Because for the longest time, every DBZ title before that was rated with a mediocre score to downright trash. So that's a testament to how consistency is key when delivering a solid game. Something that I think CC2 should take notes from, especially from developers like Spike, is the way that they did their combat. Because let's be honest with ourselves, when it comes to the actual technique in Dragon Ball Kakarot, it has a very low skill ceiling. The moves were very bare bones and cookie cutter compared to other titles like Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi and even the Xenoverse games for that matter. Everyone plays the same. To make things even worse, the camera was the bane of your existence, since for whatever reason it tries too hard to focus on your character's back. So you spend most of your time fighting against it instead of your actual opponent. One of the biggest sins of all is that the devs didn't think to include a 2-player versus mode, which is a big no-no. And I know a lot of you guys disagreed the first time I said this, but there's no reason a game that has a similar format to the Tenkaichi and Xenoverse games didn't have this feature. Even though the Naruto Storm series were focused on delivering a solid single-player story mode, CyberConnect still implemented multiplayer. And given the fact that you're building these characters up through grinding, it would make sense for us to take our customized characters online to face other players. Like, the replayability for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot was pretty much one and done. So giving us a multiplayer would give us more incentives to go back and grind. The best thing this game had going for it, in my opinion, was how expansive the arenas were, and the details when it came to environmental destruction is the best I've seen out of any DBZ game. But all ranting and wishful thinking aside, I just hope that CyberConnect 2 looks at previous games and borrows certain elements that made them great. Do like Spike did and borrow things like planet destruction from the Budokai games. Incorporate what-if scenarios and better minigames that fans would like to reenact from the show, like the punching machine test from the Buu Saga. I'm not sure why that was missing from the game, but stuff like that shows that they really care about our experience. And for once, just for once, give us something other than the same stories we replayed over and over. We've had a whole new series and a bunch of movies since the franchise made its return years ago. If you're gonna cut out those pivotal moments like the over 9,000 speech, make sure you make up for it with more things from Dragon Ball Super, not some thrown together DLC missions that don't have a proper build up. You have a solid foundation here, so this could be a redemption arc for you. Now, I just want to clarify that this is a toss-up if CC2 will actually be bringing us a sequel to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. They already have a few other projects in the works, such as Demon Slayer, that's slated to be released this year, so it's still up in the air and if we'll actually get a sequel to Kakarot or not. But I'd like to think that we will actually get an announcement for it, since the engine and mechanics are made and they can just add to that. I feel like the possibility is greater for a sequel to Kakarot than it is for DBZ Fighters, because Arc System already has their focus dead set on the Guilty Gear franchise. The most they could do with that is just add on to the base game with more characters and possibly some more areas, which is all they need to do, because that game feels more complete and doesn't necessarily need a sequel. Whether they get Dimps, Spike, or CC2, I'm just hyped to see who Namco Bandai taps on the shoulder to bring us a next Dragon Ball Z project. Each one of those teams has experience with the franchise, and I'm just excited to see what they bring up next. But anyways, what do you guys think? Do you think we'll get a sequel to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot? And what are your thoughts about the first game? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, I ask you to like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help me improve on the future videos. Also guys, me and my fiance just launched a new reaction channel aimed particularly at anime and cartoons. So if you want to get a better idea of my personality and what I'm like on camera, come check us out. If you actually enjoyed this video, I asked you to share it with your friends and family members on different social media outlets. Sharing really makes a difference. But once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. As a successful YouTube user, I often get questions asking what I use to get my videos tons of views. And the answer to that is TubeBuddy. This thing has helped me take my channel to the next level in ways I never imagined. It's a browser extension that helps new and experienced YouTubers grow fast and optimize their channels. I've been using this extension for years and it's constantly getting updated with new features, like the SEO tool that helps me come up with the perfect title, description, and tags to get more people to click on my videos. It even provides you with analytics beside your videos to see how much traffic your video is generating from various social media sites. The extension is absolutely free, but as a special offer, we're giving a 50% discount for channels that have less than 1,000 subscribers that purchase the Pro upgrade. All you have to do is enter in the code RisingStarBuddy. So if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel or taking your content to the next level, download the extension now. You can do so by clicking on this link that'll be provided in the description of this video.